Hello, what I have to show you today is a 50% mob density piston pusher. So every 2 rows that we use for pistons, we have 2 rows of spawn platforms, which means that you're using 50% of the available spawn spaces, which is really good. It also stacks 3 high, which is perfect for 2 tall mobs. You have 2 tall for the mobs to be in, and then you have the new spawn floor on the 3rd block. So you can stack it very dense, it's very simple to build, and it is very reliable. So before I take too much credit for it, this piston pusher is heavily inspired by Fallen Breath's 10 block per second mob conveyor. And then I took the piston layout from TT's video on the fastest blaze farm. So big thanks for both of them. Links to those videos will be in the description. Without them, I wouldn't have been able to do this, but you can see when the thing is running, it just pushes all the mobs out. Right now I just have it hooked up to an etho clock because it's the easiest, but you can see as the mobs go through, it just pushes them through. I originally was using this for a wither skeleton farm that didn't quite work out just because I couldn't get enough spawn spaces in the bounding box, but I ran it on carpet mod for a good 30 hours, and I didn't see a single wither skeleton get stuck, so it is a very reliable conveyor. So when you're building it, all it is you've got a module on each side of the spawn platform, and it is important that when you're building it, on each side you have piston, and then when you come across, the piston is in one block. Then go across, move in one block, across, move in one block. If you have them in a row, so for example, if you had your piston right there, then this would not work. And I just realized that I'm not going to be able to get that sticky piston back in. So let's go ahead and build 2 modules so you can see it work properly. So how we're going to start is we're just going to take a sticky piston and go every other block. You can make this as long as you want. I'm just going to do 5 for the demo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then take your normal pistons and make sure that they'll push in the direction that you want the mobs to move. Same thing on both sides. Okay. Then on top of your normal pistons, you want an observer facing out. What this will do is when this piston gets pushed out by the sticky piston, this observer will fire so that this piston pushes. Okay, so just observer facing out on top of all of your normal pistons. Now on top of your sticky pistons, you want an observer facing down into the sticky piston. That'll push the sticky piston out, push the piston out so that that observer can make the piston fire. Just do that for every single one. Make sure it's facing down. Okay, good. Now to transmit the signal along, you want to start at the back of the pistons. So make sure you're all the way at the back side and start running repeaters all the way down. Make sure they're all on 1 tick. And then to send your signal into those repeaters, you want 2 observers facing so that the redstone signal will go into the repeaters. Into these observers, we need to send a 4-tick signal. So we're just going to take some redstone and put a repeater on 4 ticks going into it. And then just have an observer sending the signal in there. Actually, I'm going to move this because we're going to make both rows. So we want a repeater on 4 ticks here. Observer facing in. And then we can put a note block in there when we're ready to fire the other side. Okay, now it's time to set up the other side. Now it's important that you keep the layout exactly the same. So this sticky piston, we need to go 1, 2, 3. On the 4th block, place it in. And then same thing, every other. Got 5 of them. And every other here. And I missed one at the beginning. Now when you put these pistons in, they should not be in the same row. So you can see we got a normal piston here. There's not a normal piston there, it's up a row. That's exactly what we want. If they're right across from each other, they won't get pushed, they'll just get trapped in the row. So your pistons should kind of zigzag across on this side. Okay, fill in all these. Same thing, observers facing out on top of your normal pistons. Observer facing down. That's not down. There we go. Be a little tricky to place them facing down. Repeaters, 1 tick delay. Now, if you have these on a 2 tick delay because you accidentally click it, what'll happen is everything after that will be messed up. These pistons won't get pulled back in. So if you notice these pistons getting stuck out there, that might be your problem. Check to make sure that you haven't messed up on those repeaters. Okay, and then those pistons are out and I don't want them to be. So there we go. You can kind of fix it just by breaking and replacing the redstone real quick. So now once they're all set up like this, we're just going to make a little bit of a wall in the back. Like this, make sure you don't block off there. And then this, no matter where they spawn in here, they will get pushed forward. And we need a roof over top, otherwise they can bounce up on the pistons. Having a little bit of trouble here. If you don't have a roof over the top, they can kind of bounce over the pistons every once in a while, and it won't be 100% reliable. Then we just have some mobs spawn in there. And when that observer notices an update, all the mobs will get pushed out. So pretty simple to build, very repeatable. You can repeat this as many times as you want. However, the biggest downside of this build is since you are using 2 separate modules to push the one spawn platform, this side and this side have to be firing at the same time to get them to move down the spawn platform, which means that all of your modules have to be firing at the same time. So with something with only 3 modules like this, that's really easy. Just some redstone dust, it'll all get activated at the same time. If you have 20 modules in a row, it's going to take a little bit more work, but they do all have to fire at the same time, otherwise the mobs will get stuck. Other than that, there's not really that much to it. I would love to see someone come up with something cool to do with this. Other than that, thanks for watching, have fun with it, and goodbye.